increasing high.
A very warm afternoon to you all there. Welcome to another interesting time on the program, TVN Business Time. My name is Nten Ekpang and I'm your regular host on this program. I'm sure you had a very rewarding business weekend, as it were. Now, on the program, we'll bring you business news from Nigeria. We'll take a look at what is happening on the business scene outside of Nigeria. We'll take a snippet of what is transpiring at the US and the Asian stock market. And then we come back home, we'll bring you the top 5 gainers and losers vis-a-vis the all-share index as it ended the weekend. Not forgetting the exchange rate of the Naira as it stands with some major currencies for today. And so just before that, let's look at the headlines. Federal government borrows 5.5 trillion naira from pension savings, delays minimum payment. CBN raises 2018 money supply growth forecast to 10.98, and on the forecasting, U.S. economic growth slows to 2.3, and T-Mobile agrees $26 billion mega merger with Sprint. Those are the headlines. We'll begin now with the major stories. About 2 years after Pensions Fund administrators started funding the Pensions Protection Fund meant for financing minimum pension payment to retirees under the contributory pension scheme, the federal government has yet to fulfill its own side of the funding agreement. Figures obtained from the National Pension Commission showed that the federal government had borrowed 5.5 trillion naira of the total pension contribution, which stood at 7.79 trillion as at the end of February this year. Now, according to the Commission, the funds are invested in the FGN bonds and treasury bills. An official of the PFSA said that the firms had commenced the funding of the minimum guaranteed fund, but the federal government had not yet started its share of the funding. A source in PENCOM stated that the industry might review upwards the initial stipulated minimum pension of 14,400, which it had not been able to implement for 2 years. The PFAS have made a profit of 2.2 trillion from the investment of pension funds over a period of 11 years. The Pension Reform Act 2014 provided that the National Pension Commission should establish and maintain a fund to be known as the Pension Protection Fund in respect of the guaranteed minimum pension. Well, according to the Act, Funding of the minimum guaranteed pension will be partly obtained from an annual subvention of 1% of the total monthly wage bill payable to employees in the public service of the Federation and returns from pension funds. Investment. Now let's move to the second story on the local business. CBN raises 2018 money supply growth forecast to 10.98, and according to that report, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, last week released its monetary, credit, foreign trade and exchange guidelines for the 2018 and 2019 fiscal years, raising its money supply growth forecast for 2018 to 10.98%. The CBN had earlier projected a money supply growth of 10.29% for 2018. The committee noted that money supply grew marginally by 0.07% in February 2018, in contrast to the provisional growth benchmark of 10.29% for 2018. He stated CBN Governor Mr. Godwin Emefiele in the communique issued at the end of the Monetary Policy Committee meeting held on April 4. Emefiele, who is CBN Governor, said the Apex Bank also would retain monetary targeting framework as its strategy for the 2018-2019 fiscal year, complemented with appropriate exchange rate regime. The CBN added that it will adopt a proactive monetary policy stance while open market operations (OMO) will remain the major liquidity management tool during the 2 years. The monetary targeting framework will remain the monetary policy strategy in 2018-2019 fiscal years. This will be complemented by an appropriate exchange rate regime. In this regard, growth in broad money will be closely monitored with projections of 10.98% and 10.29% in 2018 and 2019 respectively. Moving on to the third story on the local business scene, Gold Link Insurance to raise 3.3 billion through rights issue. According to that report, Gold Link Insurance PLC has received approval of its shareholders to raise the sum of 3.3 billion through rights issue in a move to reposition its business. At the annual general meeting of the company in Lagos last week, Acting Managing Director Mrs. Funke Moore said already the exercise has received approval of the National Insurance Commission, NICOM. Moore explained that the money will be plowed into restructuring the company's business and return it to profitability. She said that despite the challenging business environment, the company last year reported 1 billion naira profit and has equally recorded similar amounts in the first quarter of 2018, which is an indication that the company has recovered financially when we took over. On micro insurance, Moore said the company last year opened 6 offices outside Lagos, which has further influenced business transactions. She assured that the money raised will be judiciously utilized to fully reposition the company's operations and create more opportunities for market adaptability. And finally, on the local scene, Sterling Bank offers 10 billion naira loan to Spectre customers. Sterling Bank has, according to that report, offered over 10 billion naira loan to confirmed salary earners in the country before year-end through its Spectre platform. Meanwhile, the bank has commenced reward of 7,000 customers in its Spectre platform with 20 liters of petrol to each customer from April 25 to May 1, 2018. The bank disclosed this while announcing the official launch of Spectre in a press briefing held in Lagos. Spectre is a retail lending platform that ensures customers have access to personal loans within 5 minutes of profiling. It ensures speed, convenience, safety, and most of all, it gives you what we call the Spectre 5 minutes experience. And of course, details of that report are online where customers have benefited. We'll now take a short break. When we come back after this time, we're going to bring you the business news from the foreign scene. Stay with TVN Business Time. Welcome to Living Treasures Academy. Enjoy a conducive and serene learning environment. Qualified and experienced teachers. Equipped computer laboratory and library. Secured atmosphere. extracurricular activities, an all-embracing curriculum for total development of the child, comprehensive education for leadership. Join us today from crèche to secondary levels. Living Treasures Academy, committed to excellence. Thanks for staying tuned to TVN Business Time. Just before that break, we brought you local business stories. Let's look at what is happening in the international community business-wise. And top on our list for today, U.S. economic growth slows to 2.3. And according to our report, U.S. economic growth has slowed to an annualized rate of 2.3 in the first quarter of 2018, the Commerce Department said last Friday. Figures is better than the 2.49 economists had predicted, which was still down. We'll take the details of all of these reports when we come back for another quick break on this program. Don't go away. Thanks for still staying tuned. You're still watching TVN Business Time, reaching you at this time on television Nigerian. Just before that break, we told you that we're going to bring you foreign stories on the business scene, and we mentioned top on our list as being U.S. economic growth slowing to 2.3, and that report says that U.S. economic growth slowed to an annualized rate of 2.3 in the first quarter of 2018. The Commerce Department said on Friday. The figure is better than the 2.49 economists had predicted, but it was still down. In pace nearly 5 years and was blamed for the slowdown. Business buying less equipment had also backed the rate of growth. Growth in consumer spending, which makes up more than 2/3 of the U.S. economic activities, eased to a 1.1% rate in the first 3 months of 2018. That was the slowest pace since the second quarter of 2013 and followed the fourth quarters of 4% growth surge. I'm moving on to the next story now. T-Mobile agrees $26 billion mega merger with Sprint. And that report has it that T-Mobile, U.S. telecommunication giant, has agreed to buy its rival Sprint in a $26 billion deal. And that deal is worth at least 18 billion British pounds. The merger of America's third and fourth largest mobile carriers is designed to create a more competitive firm with about 130 million customers worldwide. However, the deal is expected to attract regulatory scrutiny over its potential impact on customer prices. T-Mobile boss John Legere said the new firm will spend $40 billion on building a 5G mobile network in the next 3 years. He is quoted as saying, "Together we will build the highest capacity mobile network in U.S. history." And he said, "I'm talking 30 times more capacity than T-Mobile today," he said in one of his tweets. It comes after months of negotiations between T-Mobile's controlling shareholder Deutsche Telekom and Japan's SoftBank, which controls Sprint. Under the deal, Deutsche Telekom will own 42% of combined company and control its board. SoftBank will hold at least 27% stake. And moving on now on our next business story, Avengers: Infinity War is estimated to break global opening on the weekend record. According to that story, Infinity Wars, that's Avengers, made history with a $630 million, that's a 457 million pounds global opening weekend take, according to estimates. Industry tracker Exhibitor Relations mandate made the estimates, even though the film has not yet opened in China. But Avengers Wars Awakens 148 million take. Infinity Wars, directed by brothers Joe and Anthony Russo, cost between $300 and $400 million to be made. And in our next story on the foreign business, in Sainsbury and Asda in major talk. And according to our report, major talks between British supermarket chains Sainsbury and Asda are at an advanced stage. Sainsbury has confirmed the two brands are expected to be retained should a merger go ahead. Well, Sainsbury announced that the UK arm of Walmart are the second and third largest supermarkets in the United Kingdom. The combined group will comprise 2,800 stores and will represent 31.4% of UK grocery market, slightly more than that of the market leader Tesco. The deal will be worth 10 billion and a further announcement is expected today. Richard Lim from economics research consultant Retail Economy said the measure will be a game changer in the UK grocery market of epic proportions. And let's move now to the stock market report. And of course, a total of, and now we're bringing the stock market report as a close of business over the weekend on the floor of the Nigerian stock market. And according to that report, a total of 1.825 billion shares worth 24.653 billion naira in 22,148 deals were traded the previous week by the investors on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And that is in contrast to a total of 3.008 billion shares valued at 30,296 billion that exchanged hands last week in 24,036 deals. The financial services industry measured by volume led the activity chart with 1,360 billion shares valued at 14,642 billion traded in 12,111 deals, thus contributing 74.51 to the total equity turnover volume and value respectively. Now, consumer goods industry followed with 124,816 million shares worth 6,910 in 3,709 deals. The third place was occupied by oil and gas industry with a turnover of 112.479 million shares worth 1,389 in 3,429 deals. Now, the all-share index, that's the Nigerian Stock Exchange all-share index, and the market capitalization appreciated by 1.05 and 1.34 to close the week at 41,244.89 and 14,940 trillion respectively. Similarly, all other indices finished higher with the exception of the NSE Premium, NSE ASEM, NSE Insurance, and NSE Industrial Goods indices that depreciated by 0.92 respectively. Now let's take you to the foreign market. Let's look at what the US market and of course the Asian market is talking about. But just before that, I think we should take a look at the top gainers and the top losers at the Nigerian Stock Exchange market. So let's take a look at the top 10 gainers right now. 40 oil opened with 37.45 kobo and closed 45.20 kobo to gain a percentage of 20.6, and that's 40 oil. Lastly, Nigeria also opened with 1,422.50 kobo to close a 13.53 gain. We also have Len Africa PLC closing 12.50% gain. And then we have Veritas Capital Assurance PLC gaining 12%. Consolidated Hallmark Insurance PLC gained 10.34%. International Breweries PLC gained 9.05%. NEM Insurance Company Nigeria PLC gained 8.78%. Linked Assurance also gained 7.59%. Wapik Insurance PLC 7.55%, and Honeywell Flour Mill also gained about 7.06%. Those were the top 10 gainers as at close of business over the weekend at the Florida Nigerian Stock Exchange. Now let's tell you those who did not gain, the decliners. The decliners were Unity Bank lost minus 21.26%. GlaxoSmithKline also lost minus 20.79%. Jay's Bank PLC lost minus 17.14%. Mutual Benefit Assurance PLC also lost minus 17.24%. Skybank PLC lost 14.74%. Nigerian Police Force Microfinance Bank also lost minus 13.37%. Continental Insurance PLC lost minus 13.14%. Wema Bank lost minus 10.64%. Fitson Healthcare PLC lost minus 9.60%, while Lafarge Africa lost minus 8.60 kobo. Let's now take you to the US stock market, and for today, this is how it is doing. In the United States, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed on a negative note, specifically minus 0.05. The Nasdaq Composite Index closed on a positive note, that's plus 0.02% again. The S&P 500 index in the United States also closed on a positive note, gaining plus 0.11%. Global Dow real time in US dollar closed on a positive note, gaining at least 0.10%. Dow Jones Utility Average closed positive note 0.91%. The New York Stock Exchange Composite Index closed also on plus 9%. New York Stock Exchange American Composite Index plus 0.50. The Russell 2000 Index closed on a negative note, minus 11%. The PHLX Semiconductor Index, minus 0.8%. Gold June 2018 also closed negative, minus 0.43%. The CBOE 30-year Treasury bond closed negative, a whopping 1.57%. And of course, CBOE 10-year Treasury note also closed negative, losing 0.01%. And let's take a look at the exchange rate of the Naira as it stands with the dollar as at today. And if you can see, the exchange rate on the Naira is displayed on the screen right now. And those are the changing prices for the Naira changing with the dollar, the British pound, and specifically the euro. Okay, that's about it on the stock market report. Now let's take you back to the headlines for today to remind you what business stories we brought to you both on the local and in the foreign scene for today. Now, we did tell you on the local business scene for the headlines for today, the federal government borrowed 5.5 trillion from pension savings, delays minimum wage payment. CBN raises 2018 money supply growth forecast to 10.98. On the foreign scene, U.S. economic growth slows to 2.3. And of course, T-Mobile agrees a whopping $26 billion mega measure with Sprint. And that's been the outlook for TVN Business Time for today. Remember, we come your way every day of the working week. So definitely, I will be back tomorrow with more in the world of business, both locally, internationally, talking about monies in the US, in Asia, and all you need to know as it concerns the business wrap-up. My name is Ntene Ekpang, on behalf of all members of the team. It's been nice having you join us today. Do so again tomorrow, and we'll be here for you. Bye-bye.